Meet Rudd, a rejected nobody who has spent his whole life protecting others, even though everyone makes fun of his ability. While his teammates show off powerful magic and flashy attacks, Rudd simply stood in front with his shield and took every deadly hit meant for them. Nobody respected him because he didn't look powerful, but the truth was insane. His defense was 9,999, the highest number possible, and without knowing it, Rudd had been absorbing damage for his entire team again and again. Still, he never wanted fame. His only dream was to save his sick little sister Manicia by finding a secret treasure inside the labyrinth. But after one brutal golem fight, the arrogant hero Calgus blamed everything on Rudd, stole his sword, and throws him out of the party like trash. Rudd leaves quietly, thinking he might really be the problem. But very soon, his old party will realize the painful truth. Rudd was never useless. He was the unbreakable shield keeping them alive. The story begins with a party of adventurers fighting a giant golem in this world, and the team is made up of people who each have their own role. The golem goes straight for their healer, but Rudd, the team's so-called legend, stops it at the last second. Even so, the legend role is not exactly loved, because it is not about dealing damage, and this story is about how that man became the strongest tank in the world. After they defeat the golem, Rudd starts drifting into his thoughts and thinks about his sister Manicia, but Nin cuts him off and scolds him because he is making strange faces again. She cannot believe that his head is always full of his sister, and she tells him to think about something else for once, like falling in love, while she is clearly looking at him in a very particular way. Rudd is unbelievably dense, though, and says there is nothing more beautiful than his sister, which only irritates her more. He explains that his sister has an illness with no cure, and that is why he is so desperate to find the secret treasure hidden inside the labyrinth, the one people say can grant wishes. But after what happened in the last battle, he feels that reaching that treasure may be harder than he thought, and he also feels bad for the team because his shield cracked a little, so he apologizes to Nin for causing trouble in the fight. Nin encourages him and tells him he is an excellent tank, and if he had moved, they all would have died. She also reminds him that his defense is 9,999, the highest number possible. At that moment, the hero party leader Calgus arrives with his team. He is famous for exploring many labyrinths together with the twins Lilia and Lily, and once everyone gathers, Calgus announces that he is adding 2 new members to the team. That makes Nin furious because the labyrinth only allows a maximum of 6 people, which would make them 7, but Calgus calmly says the party will still have 6 because Rudd is being kicked out. Nin tries to defend him, but Calgus remembers how Rudd lost his shield during the battle. Calgus also suspects that Rudd's 2 unknown abilities are the cause, especially since the popular role these days is the evasive legend who avoids attacks, not someone like Rudd who just stands there and takes every blow. Rudd accepts the decision with respect, but as he leaves, Calgus takes his sword too and says Rudd is the reason they lost money yesterday, then calls him a failed tank. The twins say goodbye to him gently, while Nin looks like she is about to cry. Rudd tries to comfort her and says he is sorry for accepting the invitation to join their team when he was never really on their level. Nin rejects that and feels upset that they will not see each other anymore, but he tells her he is going back to live with his sister in their village, Avancia, and says he hopes she will visit them someday. That cheers her up a little, and she says she will not miss him, even though it is obvious that she will. Rudd smiles and says he will be waiting for the day he sees her again. After that, he sits alone in the square and thinks about what Calgus said, wondering whether his abilities really do lower the strength of his armor. So before returning to the village, he decides he has to find someone who can identify his real abilities. At that moment, he hears a small D-rank group heading out to do an escort mission on a road near the place he is going anyway, so he decides to go with them. The moment they see him, they are shocked by how huge he is and they ask about his rank. He remembers that he never actually got one because he spent his whole life inside the labyrinth and never did normal missions. But one of them recognizes him and lets him join because he was a member of the heroes party. They head out by carriage and travel for 3 days. Along the road, the area is covered in fog, and Rudd starts to feel that something is wrong. They get down to look and they see a shadow. When the fog clears, they find a girl standing there alone, and she is completely naked, with a magic crystal placed over her chest. Before Rudd can understand anything, a giant forest serpent appears behind her. He tells her to hide, and when the monster attacks, he stands in front of it, ready to fight. The serpent spits acid at him, but Rudd's second ability protects him from status effects and poison. The problem is that the rest of the group is too scared to attack, so they leave the monster free to throw Rudd far away. As he loses consciousness, he sees a memory of his sister crying, and then he gets back up, fully determined. Since he does not have a sword, he tells them to attack together with him and promises he will protect them no matter what because he is the strongest. They rush the serpent and begin pushing it back, but the beast prepares its finishing strike. Rudd forces himself to hold his ground and shoves it back, opening the way for the others to finish it off. After the fight, while they are skinning the serpent, he goes to the strange girl, girl. She says she has nowhere to go, so he offers to take her with him to his village. She agrees, still a little afraid, and because her clothes are torn, the old man in the group gives her a dress as a gift because Rudd saved them. The old man suspects she might be a runaway slave, but Rudd realizes that she is a homunculus, an artificial human sold as a slave, and those beings are not supposed to walk around on their own. So something serious must have happened to her. The next day, they reach the road leading to the village, and the adventurers themselves try to recruit Rudd into their party. Rudd refuses because he still has other goals, and he starts talking about the secret treasure. Then they remember the rumors and say that treasure may contain the power to create homunculi, though they do not like them because they look stiff and do not show emotions, just like machines. Rudd notices the girl's reaction, so he greets them and leaves. As they walk together, he tells her his name, and when she says she has no name, he thinks for a moment and decides to call her Luna. She likes the name immediately. After dinner, Rudd steps away for a while and Luna senses something. Suddenly, 3 thieves appear. Luna quickly snatches a knife, leaps at them, and finishes them off within seconds. When Rudd sees that, he tells himself that Luna must be an illegally created homunculus because she has free will, emotions, and combat ability, and that should not happen. By all rules, she should be disposed of, but she reminds him too much of his sister, so he cannot abandon her. After she apologizes because she knocked over the pot, Rudd tells her that if she had that much strength, she could have dealt with the serpent herself. She says her specialty is magic, not close combat, so he asks about her magical abilities. She tells him she can cast enhancement magic and also has appraisal. Rudd is shocked because that is exactly the ability he was looking for and only one person in the world used to possess it, but that person died long ago. That means Luna is now the only one in the world who can do this. He wastes no time and asks her to read his abilities. She takes his hand and tells him he has 4 abilities. The first is Taunt, which makes enemies focus all their attacks on him. The second is Healthy Body, which makes his body tough and gives him resistance to abnormalities. Rudd starts thinking about the 2 abilities he never understood. Luna continues and says the third is Life Conversion, which lets him turn any amount of defense lost from his armor into physical strength. The fourth is Sacrifice Shield, which makes him take attacks meant for his allies and absorb the damage in their place. Rudd finally realizes what was happening to him all along and understands why his armor kept dropping even when no one touched him. He had been taking damage for others without even knowing it. He is overjoyed to learn the truth, especially because those 2 unknown abilities had worried him for so long. A little later, they arrive at the village, and for the first time in a long while, Rudd feels confident in himself and knows that he truly has powerful abilities. He starts showing Luna the village, and she sees that it is quiet and beautiful. As they walk, a girl runs toward him and throws herself on him, happy that he is back, asking how long he is staying so they can go out together. Then another girl wearing armor shows up and pulls the first girl off him. Rudd looks confused and asks what they are doing. Milena says she was on her way to get a hammer, and Fila says she was patrolling the village and checking on Manisha. Once Rudd hears that his sister is fine, he relaxes and says he had been worried about both her and the village looking after her in his absence. Then they notice Luna, and Rudd explains that they met on the road. Milena introduces herself as the blacksmith's daughter. Luna is already tense, and when Fila introduces herself too, Luna becomes even more nervous, though she still smiles politely. When they reach Rudd's house, he tells Luna not to make noise because his sister is asleep, but then he suddenly finds the whole table prepared with the tomato dishes his sister loves. Manisha comes out and asks who the girl with him is, but Rudd ignores the question and just stays happy because he got to see his sister again. After calming down, he introduces Luna and says he invited her to stay with them for a while. Manisha welcomes her warmly, tells her to treat the house like her own, and starts preparing more food for her. Rudd tries to help and Luna watches them, noticing that Manisha's hair moves on its own. Rudd explains that this is because of her strange power that makes her hair respond to her emotions. He asks his sister whether she sensed they were coming, and she says she had a feeling, so she prepared extra food just in case. While they are eating, Manisha notices that the way Luna is holding the spoon is unusual. Luna becomes very tense and starts apologizing, saying she has only used cutlery a few times. Rudd sees her trembling, so Manisha gently takes her hand, shows her how to hold the spoon correctly, and tells her she will teach her slowly, one step at a time. Luna is deeply grateful. In the days that follow, Luna learns writing and housework, and she decides to cook a meal as a thank you gift. When Rudd and Manisha taste it, they are stunned by how good it is. Rudd starts thinking about how quickly Luna learns and how extraordinary homunculi are when it comes to learning. Manisha suggests that Rudd should show Luna around the village, and he agrees. Manisha brings her some proper clothes and intends to help her put them on, but Luna quickly snatches them and says she can do it by herself. Manisha worries she upset her, but Rudd realizes Luna simply does not want anyone to see the rune on her chest. They leave the house, and Rudd explains that the village is small. There is no guild here, just one blacksmith and one pharmacist, so it is does nothing amazing, but he still wants to introduce her to everyone. The thing that draws their attention most is the orchard, and there they meet Rayleigh. The moment he sees Rudd, he immediately offers his daughter to him. Rudd introduces him to Luna and explains that Rayleigh is Milena's father and the village blacksmith. Rudd asks Rayleigh to make him a new sword because he remembers how his old one was taken from him, and Rayleigh agrees without hesitation, saying he will forge it together with his daughter. Before they finish their tour, Rayleigh suggests that Rudd take Luna to the monster farm. It is a very strange place where they grow plants that turn into monsters and use them as nutritious food. While they are there, some children come to greet Rudd, and when they see Luna, they immediately ask whether she is his girlfriend, but then they quickly say that cannot be true because everyone knows he is obsessed with his sister. A moment later, an old woman yells at the children and tells them to go back to work, and the sound of her voice triggers a flashback in Luna from the days when she was imprisoned, so she becomes extremely uneasy. She asks Rudd whether he has a girlfriend. He denies it and introduces the old woman as Granny Gigi, the village healer. Gigi welcomes Luna, but when she looks at her closely, she grows emotional and says Luna reminds her of Manicia in her early days. Rudd had thought the same thing. Gigi tells Luna that she considers all the young people in the village her children, and if Luna ever needs anything, she can come to her. Luna calms down a little, and Gigi asks whether she wants to help with the harvest. The day passes with all of them harvesting monster plants together, and when they return, Rudd tells Luna that time moves slowly here, but he likes it that way, then asks what she thinks. Luna remembers everything she has been through and can hardly believe people this kind really exist. She says she loves this place and wants to live here forever. Then her expression changes. She grabs his hand, makes him feel the rune on her chest, and asks whether he knows what it means. She confesses that she is not human, that she is a homunculus made for battle by the neighboring kingdom of Bronal. She starts crying and says she is sorry for hiding the truth, and that she wanted to tell him before, but she was afraid he would kill her. Rudd apologizes too and says he knew from the first day because he saw the rune before he helped her. Luna is stunned and asks why he still helped her. Rudd replies that he and his sister were poor, and nobody used to care about them, and the look Luna had in her eyes was the same look Manicia once had. That is what made him help her. He asks Luna whether she wants to live as a human or as a homunculus, but Luna says that dream is pointless and she can never become anything other than a homunculus. Rudd tells her no one said that, and he is also chasing an impossible dream, so she should come and chase hers with him. Luna is deeply moved and decides to walk beside him and live as a human. They hold hands, and Luna suddenly calls him Master, teach me. Rudd is startled and says that sounds strange, but she insists. When they return home, Luna confesses to Manicia that she is a homunculus and tearfully apologizes for not saying it earlier. Manicia says she suspected it already, then asks whether they can still be friends. That makes Luna cry from happiness and hug her, and Manicia thinks about how her brother keeps helping the kind of people no one else in the world would help. After that, Rudd and Luna are cleaning an old storehouse, and both of them are exhausted. Manicia brings them juice, and everyone immediately runs toward her to get some. Luna notices how loved Manicia is, but she does not realize that Rudd vanished the moment the drinks appeared. He ran to catch his share. After that, someone asks Rudd for a duel. Rudd agrees and says all of them can fight, but first he has to face Phila. They head outside and agree that whoever loses defense first loses the match. The fight begins, and one of the women knights says neither of them is particularly fast, but it is already obvious who will attack first. Sure enough, Phila charges with heavy blows, and Rudd blocks them all. He notices how much her power has grown. Manicia tells Luna that Phila and her brother are among the strongest knights in the village and are supposed to fight powerful monsters. The male knights cheer for Phila while the girls cheer for Rudd, but Rudd gets distracted for a moment when he looks toward his sister. Phila uses that opening and increases the pressure. Rudd stumbles a little, then blocks the strike and finally answers with his first attack using his new ability, shattering Phila's armor in a single blow. Everyone is stunned that 2,500 defense was broken in one strike. Phila asks what that was, and Rudd explains that it was life conversion, and this was the first time he had tried it. He is thrilled that he can finally attack instead of only defending. He asks who is next, but no one has the courage. Nin is left staring in shock at his strength, and Manicia sees him as the greatest brother in the world. After that, we see a flashback of Manicia as a child, alone, abandoned, and crying. When Rudd appeared and saved her, everything changed. She wakes from sleep at night because she is used to these dreams and begins wondering whether her brother is truly happy or whether his life would have been better without her.